dive into something that feels almost otherworldly: Earth's energy grid, or what some people like to call ley lines. Imagine this: a web of energy patterns crisscrossing the entire planet, like veins in a human body, pulsing with an almost mystical power.
Ley lines are fascinating. These supposed energy channels are thought to align not just with natural formations, but with sites of profound historical and spiritual significance. Sacred places like the pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu, they all lie on these intersections. It's as though ancient civilizations knew something we've lost touch with.
Exactly. And not just random placement, right? These aren't accidental alignments. It's almost like they mapped out this energetic grid way before we even started understanding complex geometry. The precision, it's mind-blowing.
It really is. And when you think about it, the idea isn't so far-fetched. Ancient cultures, whether Egyptian, Mayan, or Druidic, were deeply attuned to the energy of the earth. They didn't just see these lines, they worked with them to amplify connections, to align with natural and cosmic rhythms.
Right, they weren't building giant pyramids just because they looked cool. They were tapping into something bigger. Imagine placing a temple or a monolith at this precise grid point, like plugging into an energy outlet for the earth.
Oh, totally. And it's worth noting how some people describe these sites as almost charged. For example, Machu Picchu, perched high in the Andes, kind of feels alive. It's as if these locations were designed not just for ceremony or agriculture, but for something transcendent.
And here's what gets me spinning. Is this just a coincidence, or did ancient societies know about these energy hubs in a way we can't even comprehend today? I mean, it's like a missing piece of the puzzle. Something they whispered to each other thousands of years ago and then, poof, gone.
You know, I wonder about that all the time. When I visited Sedona in Arizona, it felt like stepping into one of these ancient energy sites. There's this energy there. Call it a vortex, call it ley line synergy. Whatever it is, you feel it. And people flock there for the same reason they might have gathered at Stonehenge. It echoes this ancient understanding of power, balance, harmony.
It's wild, isn't it? Sedona feels like a modern-day relic of what ancient people were tuning into. But imagine that amplified like times 1,000. These ancient places, they weren't just hubs for rituals. They might have been like, batteries, actual energy sources powering daily life.
And that just opens so many questions. Were they simply spiritual centers, or could they have been functioning as something practical? Energy grids, even?
Oh, that hits exactly where my head's been at. Ley lines, sacred sites, they're not just history, they're puzzle pieces. And I think we've only just scratched the surface of what they... Alright, so if ley lines and energy grids are the veins of the Earth, what happens when we take that concept to a mythical extreme? Let's talk about Atlantis. The myths, the legends, and most intriguingly, its technology. Picture this. At the heart of Atlantis, there's a colossal crystalline structure, a great crystal, radiating energy like a miniature sun. Could it have been their way of tapping into something even bigger?
The Great Crystal is such an intriguing concept. Ancient texts describe it as aligning perfectly with the Earth's energetic nodes. It wasn't just sitting there passively, it was actively tapping into ley lines, solar radiation, and perhaps even the electromagnetic hum of the Earth, known as the Schumann resonance.
Right, and here's what's wild. People think it wasn't just powering Atlantis in a literal sense, like running lights or flying vehicles, but also in a metaphysical way, elevating consciousness, enhancing psychic ability. Imagine a technology so advanced it blurred the lines between science and spirituality.
It's the sort of thing that feels otherworldly, isn't it? But then, consider modern science. We know quartz crystals can store and amplify energy. They're used in watches, radios, even advanced tech. So, the idea of the great crystal harnessing energy doesn't feel so far-fetched when you think about it in that light.
Exactly. And crystals are like the perfect conduit, right? They amplify energy, they stabilize it. So when you place something like the Great Crystal right on the Earth's energetic hotspots, You're amplifying those energies on a massive scale, boosting it like exponentially.
And not just boosting terrestrial energy. Some theories suggest the crystal created a bridge, connecting Earth's grid to cosmic forces. Solar radiation, planetary alignments, maybe even interstellar resonance. It's like they were in tune with the universe's heartbeat, in a way we can only dream of now.
And can you imagine what that meant for their technology? Anti-gravity, free energy, maybe even interdimensional communication? Like they were unlocking the very fabric of reality somehow. It's insane to think about, but so exciting too.
What's even more fascinating is how this could tie into modern research. Crystalline energy is making a quiet comeback, from energy storage to computational technology. It feels like we're rediscovering ancient wisdom, you know? Almost like the echoes of Atlantis are still out there, waiting to be heard again.
That's the kind of thing that gives me chills. It's like we're looking back while moving forward, peering into a mirror across time. But what happens when that balance gets tipped? But what happens when that delicate harmony breaks? This is where Atlantis takes a turn for the tragic. You've got this insanely advanced civilization, high-tech crystals, energy grids, and then, boom, total catastrophe. It's like they flew too close to the sun, you know?
And the stories suggest that misuse of the Great Crystal played a role. Overloading it, disrupting its alignment, or even tapping into energies they didn't fully understand. It caused chaos. Earthquakes, tsunamis, the continent sinking into the ocean. It's this cautionary tale about hubris, isn't it?
Exactly. They mastered forces beyond our wildest dreams, but somewhere along the way they lost balance. Like all of that progress, all of that knowledge. And then nothing. Just gone.
What fascinates me, though, is what they left behind. Not just ruins or myths, but ideas. Concepts about tapping into Earth's energy grid, using sustainable power in harmony with nature. It's like, despite their fall, they passed down a blueprint, if we're wise enough to see it.
Yeah, but here's the kicker. Are we getting it? I mean, technology today, it's all about speed and convenience, right? But Atlantis shows us what happens when you chase advancement without grounding it in responsibility.
That's where the real lesson lies. It's not just about what they achieved technologically, but why they fell. It's a reminder that power, whether it's energy, technology, or even knowledge, has to be balanced with consciousness, with ethics, or it corrupts.
Totally. Like, we've got stuff today that feels almost Atlantean in scale, like fusion energy, AI, even quantum computing. But the question isn't just how far can we go, it's should we? What are the consequences if we push without thinking?
Exactly. It's like we're at a crossroads, just like Atlantis might have been. Do we repeat their mistakes, or do we shift that balance back towards harmony? Working with the planet, not against it. Honoring the knowledge we uncover, rather than exploiting it.
It almost feels like a cosmic test, right? Like, are we learning anything, or are we just playing with forces we barely understand again? I mean, it's a little unnerving to think about.
But it's also hopeful in a way. Because remembering Atlantis, reflecting on their rise and fall, it gives us the chance to choose differently, to honor the Earth, to embrace sustainability, to see technology as a tool for connection, not domination.
Yeah, that's powerful. Maybe Atlantis isn't just a lost city. Maybe it's a story, a warning that echoes across time saying, you've got the tools. Now, use them wisely.
And on that note, that's all for today. Great talking as always, and thanks for taking this journey with us. Until next time.